Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the North Central Washington MVP interview series brought to you by Career Connect Washington and the Apple STEM Network. I'm Carrie Horning, your host, Career Connected Learning Specialist with the NC ESD 171. Our goal today is simple. It's to introduce our community partners throughout North Central Washington to one another. That stays the same no matter what week it is or what round of the series of interviews we're in. And as I like to do every single week is just remind you, a win today looks like each of you leaving with a greater understanding of the work being done all around North Central Washington and how maybe you can actually even get involved if you're so moved. So my tagline, as they say, grab your lunch, sit back, and get ready for an extra dose of professional nourishment. Today's guest, I've got the pleasure of speaking with Heather Collins from Ajac. Heather's a Washington native. She's soon to be married. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And she enjoys getting into the outdoors with her fiance in their Jeep, but she also claims to be a pretty solid gamer, which I don't know anything about, but there's a lot of joy when she was talking about it. So that's actually what I love about you, Heather. You kind of do it all. You do everything. So, we just both, as we were warming up here, kind of admitted that and not only admitted, but owned being fast talkers. So especially when it's a topic we love. So to the audience, we will do our best to slow down and not blow through this in 10 minutes flat.
Yes, I'll do my best, I promise.
Me too. I feel like I just blew through that introduction. So I might not be off to that great of a start. So anyway, so Heather, welcome. Are you ready to do this?
I am. Let's get right into it. Thank you.
All right. So, you know what? Tell us all about Ajac. What is Ajac? What do you do?
Yeah, so Ajac is a nonprofit organization that provides apprenticeship training throughout Washington State and the Pacific Northwest. So we were founded in 2008. To help support the aerospace industry initially. There was a lot of talent being sucked up by large aerospace companies that were taking talent from the small to mid-sized manufacturers who didn't quite have enough money or resources to provide their own training. So we were kind of born to support those small to mid-sized manufacturers and train their machinists that were making parts for these, larger aerospace companies, and really step in to provide a extremely low or no cost program to them to train those machinists up and fill the skill gap that we see in manufacturing. So across the state now, since 2008, we have really expanded into more than just aerospace. We are in so many different sectors of manufacturing. It continues to surprise me. Grown into 13 different occupations that we train to, all from that start with just training machinists. And now we partner with over 300 different companies, and we train, around 400 apprentices each year across, the state. And then also we have some partnerships in Idaho and Oregon, which is really exciting.
Nice. Yeah, I know. Luckily, I'm fortunate enough we get to work together a little bit.
Yes, we do.
I love what you do. So thanks for letting me tag along. So
yeah, thank you.
So for the folks who are listening who don't actually know, can you tell us, when you say apprenticeship, what does that really mean? Are there different types?
Yes. So apprenticeship is a really great way to train people in technical skills, honestly, not just for the manufacturing industry, even where we're focused, but I could see this being valuable in all industries. Apprenticeship combines classroom training with paid on-the-job training. So, apprentices, they get to learn the theory behind what they're doing on the job and learn why what they're doing is important. They get to learn anything that they need in the classroom. So we teach things like math, blueprint reading, and all of those foundational skills that help them on the job. But then on the other end of apprenticeship, they actually get to practice those technical and hands-on skills while they're at their job getting paid. And it's a really amazing opportunity for people to gain new skills to move further through their career. And apprenticeship also comes with a journey level certification at the end of completing a set of classes and all of their on-the-job training. And that's a nationally recognized certification they can take with them wherever they go. When you ask about different types of apprenticeships, we do have a couple of different types. We have a youth apprenticeship that's in partnership with high schools across the state to get those high school students interested in manufacturing into the pipeline, as well as those on-the-job skills and that work experience that is so valuable to them as they move forward in their career. And then we also have adult apprenticeship programs where current workers can be trained at their job and move up in that career path that they're looking forward to.
Nice, nice. So I want to back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you let me tag along quite a bit, so I know a little bit more about some of this, and I want to share it with our audience. Is when you talk about the youth apprenticeship, we've done some work here locally. You've done some work here locally. Can you talk to us a little bit about, who have you worked with here in North Central Washington, and just give us a little bit of kind of an insight into what's going on with the youth apprenticeship?
Yeah, we're so excited about the youth apprenticeship that we have in North Central Washington. Right now, we partner with Columbia Basin Technical Skills Center in Moses Lake, which is a great school to partner with because it serves so many different school districts across North Central Washington. The program that we have there is called an automation technician. Those students are trained on, skills in maintenance. So they take classes with Ajac that are taught by CB Tech in blueprint reading and technical drawings, in mechanical systems, and in fluid power systems. And then what's so great about the youth apprenticeship opportunity is that they can also work part-time during the school year. The youth apprenticeship in North Central Washington is so great because they get to go to class 2 days a week to learn that theory. And then their work experience is actually built into the school day. So instead of going to that class, those other 3 days of the week, they go to work instead, and they get those hands-on skills. They get that work experience. And then they're still able to do after school activities and all those different things they're involved in. So we have just had such a great partnership with NCESD and CB Tech to make this possible for our Moses Lake students.
Yeah. So just to go a little bit deeper, like pre-COVID, and tricky when we start to label that, but pre-COVID, legitimately, there was some really intense apprenticeships happening locally. Can you tell us just a little bit about that too?
Pre-COVID in the youth apprenticeship space?
Yeah. So I'm thinking of the SGL.
Yes, absolutely. So we would have 4 students a year that went to SGL to get their on-the-job training, and that's SGL Carbon. So they would go over there and do their, on-the-job training. It was a really great opportunity for them. What we had set up pre-COVID was we would do a summer boot camp with the students where they got some of those initial skills that they needed. They'd get their OSHA 10 certification, additional safety training, first aid and CPR card, all sorts of different things to get them prepared. We also went through some workplace readiness training with them. And then they would start in the summer before they started school at their workplace. So they had the opportunity to work full time and get familiar with their job. Right when school started, they got into those classes. A thing I haven't mentioned yet about the classes that they take with us is that they're dual credit. So they actually get 5 college credits for each class that they take with us. And they go through that theory training during the school. So we had, 4 students a year. We've seen quite a few students graduate from CB Tech. And we continue to have that program even post-COVID. Obviously there was a little hiccup in the middle of that, but we all know about that. So we're still going strong today.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, because I feel like, that really did throw a wrench in, of course, everything. However, now that we're kind of, pulling through, these opportunities are still there, and we need to let everybody know, like, hey, this can happen. We can make this happen. We've done it before. So good. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about the youth apprenticeship. Let's talk about the adult side of it, because I think there might be quite a few people who aren't aware that this option exists for adults as well.
Yeah, so the adult apprenticeship program is structured a little bit differently than, if you all already are familiar with apprenticeship, the Ajac apprenticeship model is an incumbent worker training model, which really means that we exist to train an employer's current workforce. So we talk to a lot of employers that see a skill gap, or like I mentioned before, they'll hire somebody that just needs some extra work, but they might not have the resources to provide that training or the time. I mean, when you're in manufacturing, you need to be in production. So to provide that training that they need. So that's where Ajac can step in. And like I mentioned, we have 13 different occupations that we train to. So it all depends on what skills that employer is looking for. And we will do our best to match one of our programs with those skills. In the adult apprenticeship program, the apprentices continue to work their normal 40-hour, oftentimes more, work week on their normal schedules. And we incorporate the on-the-job training into what they're doing on the job. That might mean rotating them into some different parts of the shop to learn, different skills in that area, and having a mentor on site, a supervisor lead that's already there to help them out through the skills that they're learning and answer any questions that they have. And then on the Ajac side, we provide the curriculum and theory-based learning that they need after work. So they attend class one night a week, typically in the evening for 4 hours. Again, those classes are college credited, so they get college credits for each of those classes that they take with us. Each of the adult apprenticeship occupations follows that structure, and they range anywhere from 18 months to 6 years of training, depending on, the level of skill and knowledge that is needed for that occupation.
Yeah, such a great way to promote from within too. I mean,
absolutely.
Can you imagine if we had brought Stella in on this?
I know.
The three of us, so she could talk about, because Chemicon Materials in Moses Lake is also doing the adult apprenticeship, and it's going gangbusters. They were really having great success.
Yeah, we have been so excited and thrilled to partner with Chemicon in Moses Lake. They really needed to train up some of their maintenance workers and really get that level of maintenance knowledge up. So we have a great partnership with them. They have 8 students signed into the program right now, all Chemicon employees that are going through this 4-year industrial maintenance apprenticeship. And what is so great about partnering with Chemicon is that they have just been so excited to provide this training, and such a great partner. We're teaching the classes at the Chemicon site. So an Ajac instructor is going up there once a week. That way the students don't, have to travel anywhere else. They just get to go straight into a different room after work and get their classroom training right there on site. So when we do the technical training and machine training, they get to use the machines that are at Chemicon, which is really cool. We don't see that all the time. And so that has been a really exciting partnership, and just a really great opportunity for all of those employees.
Yeah, no doubt. I hear that from Stella every time I see her.
Oh my gosh, it's so great it's just so exciting to get that started up, and such a great success. We're really happy with that program there.
Yeah, good. Well, I feel like, having this conversation, it's going to spark some interest, for some of our other manufacturers, some of our other business and industry owners. And I'm sure they're thinking, wait a minute, how much does that cost? Is there an added cost to that? So if an employer wants to get involved and start an apprenticeship program at their business, how do they go about that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to just even learn more about apprenticeship and see if it's a good fit for your company, obviously the best way to start is just a conversation. I mean, I'm always available by phone or email, and I love to get started with those conversations. Typically what we do when we work with a new employer is we really want to make sure that our program is a good fit for the skills that they're looking for. So we set up a couple of meetings. We did this with Chemicon too. We've toured Chemicon probably over 5 times at this point. I've toured Chemicon just for different things to make sure that we're really understanding the skills that are needed for each employer, because even though maintenance is similar, there are differences, right, in each employer. And so that's a lot of times the first thing we'll do. We'll get that conversation started. We'll do a tour. We'll talk to them about what occupation would be the best fit. And then from there, honestly, the sign-up process with Ajac is really easy. There's just a couple pieces of paperwork that we need to sign to kind of solidify that partnership and, get that program registered with L&I. But then from there, Ajac takes over pretty much all of the program administration. I mean, that's where we come in as that intermediary. So the employer doesn't need to follow up on additional paperwork for the program. That's something that I come in and do. I do all the paperwork for the apprentices. Ajac has staff that checks in on the apprentices to make sure they're doing well. Apprentices have to record their hours to Ajac, and so the employer doesn't have to worry about apprenticeship hours, the journey level certification, any of that. And I know you mentioned cost, right? How much is this going to cost me? Well, we're a nonprofit, so there's no cost to partner with Ajac. There are, some different decisions a business can make as far as if they want to cover the tuition for their apprentices. So like Chemicon decided to pay the tuition for all of their apprentices. It's not a requirement of the program. And so that's just something that we talk through. But what's great about apprenticeship is that all tuition for apprentices is a 50% discount. So it is a super affordable program, especially when you compare it to other similar, training that's available. So.
Yeah, it really is amazing.
Yeah.
So, along that same thought process of, businesses who might be interested in starting an apprenticeship at their company, does it matter what type of company they are? I mean, we've talked a lot about manufacturing, but are there options for other industries?
Yeah, like I mentioned, we primarily work within the manufacturing space. That's where, Ajac really specializes, but we are starting to expand a little bit more into logistics. So we just launched a new program called Logistics Specialist, and that's more focused on warehousing, and the different skills required for that. A lot more of, incoming product and outgoing product, how to manage all of that. So that's a new space that we're just getting into. And then as far as, manufacturing, we also have a program specifically for food processing. Even though that still falls under manufacturing, it's been one of those things where people aren't sure if there's training specific to them. So we do have a machine operator program that is specific to the food processing industry, comes with a food science course and food safety course. And so that's, two new industries we're really, really excited to break into.
Nice. Nice. So yeah, actually, you know what, that kind of leads me into, there's, and forgive me because I'm not remembering right on the spot, but there's an event coming up.
Yes.
Around all that. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So we have a webinar coming up on February 21st, where we're talking about two of our brand new programs. One is the Logistics Specialist that I just touched on. And the other one is called Operations Specialist, which is kind of a training and apprenticeship for people that you think are ready to go into that frontline supervisor position, someone who's still going to be on the floor, but maybe moving up into leadership. The operations specialist trains them in different things like lean manufacturing and Six Sigma, problem solving, advanced communications, all those skills that they're going to need to be a successful leader. So we're doing a webinar on our logistics and operations specialist programs February 21st from 11:30 to 12:30. We're calling it a lunch and learn series. So it's similar to what you say on the podcast, right? Grab your lunch, join us for this webinar, and we will talk to you about all the different details of those two programs. One way we've really been expanding both of these programs are 18-month programs. Something that we've seen recently is that, both for employees and employers, the 4 to 6 year programs can sometimes be a barrier for people. They're not sure what their life's going to look like in 4 years. So it's easier to get into a training program that's not so long and not so intensive. And so we've been developing more and more programs that are more along like the 18-month to 2-year range, just from things that we've heard from different employers. So we're very excited for the launch of these two programs. The webinar is completely free. Feel free to join us and learn more about it. And then there will also be time for questions. So if people have questions, want to know more, we'll have the whole Ajac staff there to help out.
Good. So while you were talking, I was multitasking. I actually kind of went fishing through my computer real quick, and I dropped in the Lunch and Learn flyer in the chat. I can see it on my screen, but in terms of the recording and people who watch this after the fact, I'm not sure that they're actually going to be able to see it. So is there any chance you can kind of verbally and then maybe also drop it in the chat, your email address?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I think what that'll do is anybody who is seeing this as an actual recording versus live can then contact you, or they can contact me as well. We'll make sure that they get a copy of that flyer firsthand.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I think actually a great place to look for it. And then I'll give you my email address. We do have a Facebook page. So Ajac, AJAC. It is not an X. It is a C at the end. AJAC. If you look up Ajac on Facebook, we have the flyer shared on our social media there. And then if you would like to reach out to me directly for a link to register, my name is Heather Collins. So my email is Collins, COLLINS, and that's at ajactraining.org, AJACtraining.org. So would love to hear from you if you want to register.
Okay, double check me. I put that all in the chat. Make sure I got
Perfect.
that. But on the Facebook one, again, for those who might be viewing this on the recording, if you go to Facebook, you do have to type in that at Ajac Training to actually get to the page. Otherwise, you'll go to some other Ajac. So, but it's so funny that you clarify it's not an X, because I always have to say it's Ajac, not Ajax. And then I'm like, wait a minute.
It's true. Well, Ajax, I mean, I think we all, are familiar with Ajax, but if you type that into Facebook, you're probably going to the cleaner. So
yeah,
that's
exactly. Oh, I love it. That's so funny. And I mean, it is. I always ask myself, why do I feel like I have to correct them? But so that they actually get to the right spot. So
it's true.
That's one of those little sister personality traits that bug my siblings, but it works well for getting people directed to you guys.
Yes.
Okay, all right, let's get back to business. So we're doing okay on time. We've got just around 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
But I want to check in. We've covered a lot of detailed information, but is there anything else out there that you want to share that maybe we haven't gotten to that we could kind of go over?
I mean, just kind of a quick, Ajac is involved in a lot of different things regarding manufacturing, and we partner with so many different people, including NCESD has been a huge partner in promoting our youth apprenticeship. But not only do we do apprenticeship, we also have pre-apprenticeship programs. That could be a whole other podcast, but I'll just do like the quick 30-second overview. We have programs that help.
That's such a good one. Yeah, let's get into
we have pre-apprenticeship programs that are, honestly, I think pre-employment also works to train people to help support the pipeline getting into manufacturing. That apprenticeship really gets deep into the skills is for people who are already working or maybe already have training, but the pre-apprenticeship is a great opportunity for someone who maybe didn't take CTE classes in high school and really doesn't know a lot of the technical knowledge, but they want to get into that program. Our pre-apprenticeship is normally 10 to 12 weeks in length. And we teach people normally a couple hours a day, 5 days a week, get them certified in, again, OSHA, first aid, forklift driving. We teach blueprints, math, mechanical skills, understanding basic electrical concepts, really to get that foundational knowledge so that when they get onto the shop floor, they're not so lost by everything. And hopefully our goal is that it's a better starting place for an employer and less labor intensive to train someone up when they come on. Right now, we don't have an in-person program in North Central Washington yet. And I say yet because we are always looking to grow, but we do have an online program, and we have had people from North Central Washington and Eastern Washington come into that online program that we teach. So that's always a great option. I love to throw that out there because sometimes people need a starting place, right? An apprenticeship, that can sometimes be a barrier, is that they have to be employed in order to do the apprenticeship. So we also support that process of getting trained and into employment.
Okay, so say somehow I'm not in school and I'm not employed, but I catch wind of this recording, this interview. What do I do then? Do I just go ahead and contact ajactraining.org?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you could absolutely go to ajactraining.org. Our pre-apprenticeship is also called Manufacturing Academy. So we have a website, manufacturingacademy.org. And if you're in North Central Washington looking for that training, I would definitely look into the online program. That's going to be the easiest one for you to join at this moment in time. And that program, we partner with different resources across the state, different organizations that have funding so that there's no cost to the student to attend. And we do that in many different ways, but that's really important to us, is that it doesn't cost the student to attend. And then at the end of Manufacturing Academy, after you graduate, we have a career navigation support that helps you in finding a job and getting into a position that fits your skills and your interests wherever you live across Washington. So it's a really great opportunity if you want to get into the industry. We can help support that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's why it's so impressive to me. Like you literally could be between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
There's always an answer and an out. And I mean, nothing better than getting trained up and educated to not only help, a business, but yourself. So
yeah,
that's so good. That's so good. Okay, so we're winding down to a few minutes, and I think we've got a few live attendees, and I want to just open it up. If you have any questions, you can totally interrupt me, or you can put it into the chat. But while I'm giving that time, I just have to dial back a little bit. We talked a little bit about the youth apprenticeship and some of the success that we had, before that crazy bug. So I don't know the answer to this. This is not a pre-set up question. Is the super fun event to kick everything off, is that back and happening, that where Ajac hosts? I drove over to the west side.
The signing day.
Yeah, the signing day. Thank you.
Not that I know of, but we are definitely talking about getting that back on and going. So just a little background for those of you listening. Pre-COVID, we would do a big signing day for all of our apprentices across the state. The employers would come out, the youth apprentices would travel over, and they would sign on as a youth apprentice and get, swag from their company that they're signing on with, swag from Ajac and our partners. Huge event that we did pre-COVID. I know that we've talked about bringing it back, but there's no official, kind of decision on that yet. But I think it'd be awesome. Why not do it here in Moses? Why don't we do it just for our students, right?
That's right. You know what? That could happen. That could definitely happen. I did not bring that up, to pressure anybody. I legitimately didn't know. And I did not check on that question with you, prior to.
Oh, no, that's great. Yeah. And actually, because I started at Ajac like December 2019, right before COVID happened. So I've never been to a signing day. So I'm all for getting that started up again.
It was super fun. My boss allowed me to travel over for it, to be with our apprentices for this area. And oh my gosh, it was just, it was so much fun. And really, I mean, I had a blast, but to see the parents there and the pride that they had and their students and all the different community members, Moses Lake really had a great turnout. We had representatives from the port and we had multiple representatives. So it was super fun. So. Well, good. Well, listen, we're at about 12:42, so we've got about 3 minutes remaining. I'm not seeing any questions coming in, so I kind of always just take this time to thank you very much, Heather, for coming and being a part of this. Sometimes I have to arm wrestle and twist a little bit to get people to do this. You just, kind of jumped right in. So thank you very much.
Happy to jump on. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I love working with you.
Me too.
So thank you. We appreciate this. I will kind of get this all packaged up nicely and put it out there so that you have it, so that all of our partners have it. Thank you for being an amazing intermediary. And I'll see you out on the road.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Carrie.